I'm going to be discussing Gary Smalley's book, Joy That Lasts. I love Gary. He is full of incredible information and insights. I will end up with a lot of his resources here because he's such a big part of our library. He begins with every crisis, no matter the magnitude, is a step toward an enriched life. No matter what our circumstances, whether we own much or little, we cannot live for long without feeling cheated by life. We eventually will experience despair and discouragement. Trials can be our greatest experience, for they can lead to the source of lasting joy. The next chapter is having it all isn't enough. Gary talks about for the first time that he began to realize his major mistake. He was expecting to find fulfillment in people, places, possessions, and position. The first one is people. We cannot control them. We look to people to fulfill our expectations. Many husbands, wives, employers, and friends put their hope for fulfillment in other people, which eventually leaves them empty and frustrated inside. Gary began to see that unrealistic expectations of others kept him from gaining the fulfillment that he sought. People, no matter how perfect, could never fill his life. The second one is places. We get bored with them. Relying on a location or special place to bring us lasting joy is like taking a snapshot of a beautiful setting. When we get the picture developed, it never quite recaptures the beauty we beheld. Gary shares about his new house eventually becoming ordinary once you become settled in. Vacations can be enjoyable, but the possibilities for disasters are endless. Bad weather, lost traveler's checks, cars break down, canceled flights, and stuffy motel rooms. Places, whether homes or vacation spots, are like a mirage. To a person thirsting for fulfillment, they look like a quenching pool of water. Yet once we reach them, we find only sand and the 10,000 other tourists who beat us to that spot. The third one is possessions. We never get enough. Money doesn't provide lasting fulfillment, nor is it the key to the door marked the overflowing life. I've met many poor, happy people as I've met rich, happy people, and vice versa. Yet many of us live as though cars, campers, and boats bring lasting enjoyment to life. Possessions, like people and places, lose their ability to fulfill us. Trying to quench our thirst from this source is like drinking salty seawater. It shimmers and glistens with promise, but it only leaves us more thirsty and cramped. And the last one is position. We can never climb high enough. One reason that jobs do not satisfy is that they all have at least one thing in common: work. Work is not always fun, especially when we must do the same thing over and over again. Besides, jobs rarely live up to our expectations. Like owning a big home, the responsibility can consume all our energy. Most of the focus of what we expect to gain from our job is money, security, promotions, benefits, or fulfillment. We may find these things for a time, but no job is secure. For many men and women have sacrificed their family life for a higher position, only to discover that the position that they sought didn't fulfill their expectations, and in the process, they lose their relationship with their children. Instead of the fulfillment that they were looking for, what did they find? Hurt feelings, anxiety, fear, and stress, the very things that they were hoping to avoid. Many people think they would be fulfilled if they could lead a great cause, work full-time helping people, become a media celebrity, cut a record album, win a political election, or write a book. Consumed by the excitement of these activities, some ignore the potential cost in time or finances, loss of privacy, and demand from supporters. Gary lists 3 reasons why his cup is full. Number 1, negative emotions such as hurt feelings, envy, jealousy, anger, depression, lust, fear, and worry have virtually faded from his life. 2, positive, life-giving emotions have replaced all of those negative emotions. He regularly experiences love for and from others, and his inner joy and happiness does not depend on God's creation. He has an inner calm and contentment, a peace of mind that he never used to experience. And number 3, Gary learned how to use the painful, emotionally difficult experiences of life to benefit him and those around him. In recognizing God's faithfulness, Gary asked to experience God within him, and that he might no longer expect anything other than God to fulfill his life. He asked for healthy family relationships and that his wife Norma, he, and his 3 children would love each other and be an example to other families. He asked for knowledge and wisdom to be the best husband and father. He asked God for a friend who could guide him further in his truth. He needed someone who would help him resolve his inner turmoil regarding a hurt relationship and to help him live an obedient Christian life. Finally, Gary asked God to let him guide others, particularly by preparing him to do more personal counseling so he could share his insights from God. There's so much more to this book. Gary filled it with so much more useful information that I don't have time to mention all of it. But today I urge you to connect with your Abba Father and see if your cup is full, and if you're missing the mark that society wants you to believe you need in order to find fulfillment today.